So when I look back, I think of being the commuting student. It sounds almost corny, but there was a lot of lessons learned in getting up every day and having to organize your day. And when you're a youngster, having had your first real job yet, organizing, getting to UB, going to classes, getting homework done in the labs and the other things that were required, and then going out to the Mount Washington campus and throwing on the soccer boots and playing on a very good team at a very high level, and showering and getting your stretch and coming back into the city and going over to what was then the library and studying a little bit. And on some days, if I didn't study, actually going to a part-time job. All that at the time seemed like routine, but it was very important because it helped me learn a lot of self-discipline and managing my time. Here at UB, what I really liked is a lot of the professors were practitioners, and what great stories they could tell. They could make the textbook and all the homework come to life. And so you saw a lot of diversity in even their approaches. One professor, adjunct faculty, would approach a business problem this way, only to hear another one say, well, yeah, that's one solution, but here's another way to look at it. And I think that really was powerful in helping me to prepare and seeing that, you know, there's not always one way to solve things, that I need to be open to looking at a variety of solutions. A lot of my time is spent managing risk. And that comes from a couple things. It comes from being open to new things, but on the other hand, understanding history. And it's combining those two and saying, okay, how can I plan for the things that I know about? And if I can't prevent them, I should always be in a position to minimize their impact. So significant market change, if you haven't prepared in advance and then the market change occurs, you kind of get caught with your hands tied behind your back. It really comes down to having an open mind and having a very dynamic group, a diverse group of thinkers that are willing to step back and say, you know, we did it this way yesterday, but today let's try this approach. On the athletic field, I mean, starting with our wonderful team that came from all over Baltimore, we were all different backgrounds. I mean, there were areas of Baltimore that I didn't even know about, having grown up here all my life, that I got the chance to share with my teammates after games as we went to their homes or into their neighborhoods to have some really great food or to have fun. So that was really good, but it opened up my eyes to, wow, this whole experience is just a microcosm of the world that I'm about to graduate and go into, and maybe I need to take this energy and this excitement I'm feeling about being with people who are different than I am and carry that on in my career, which I did. Sometimes the difference between success and failure for most kids is access to the technology they need to do things. The Vanguard Computers for Schools program, simply stated, is to take PCs that would be, in effect, reduced to scrap and refurbish them and make them available to underserved communities, and in effect reducing that digital divide that exists today between those who have access to technology and those who don't. Everyone here took an interest in me, and that's something that I also find very extraordinary as I talk to peers. But I think the person who had the greatest impact on me was Meb Turner, our president, and he was like a second dad to me, and he's the one that got me involved not only with post-curricular activities during the school year, but even after I graduated and got out on my feet for a couple years, he's the one who made the call and said, Mike, I'd like you to come back and serve on our foundation board. And from that point, I got involved in a lot of activities. I hope I could be known as that stealth activist behind the scenes, because most of my support of the Alumni Association comes actually behind the scenes as the Budget and Finance Committee chair on the foundation board and helping to make sure they have the resources they need to run the Alumni Association as it is. I can look anyone in the eye and say my success, not just as a business person, but even as a man, has come from people taking the time to reach out and say, you know, you have potential and I want to help you. Giving back to me is a way of saying, you know, I had my turn to benefit from this, now it's my turn to give. So starting, quite frankly, with my first paycheck as a graduate, I couldn't give a whole lot then, but when that phone-a-thon came from the Alumni Association, I gave what I could. That giving not only is monetary, but it's also with my time. So serving on a lot of committees here and other activities on the board have really been helpful to give me the opportunity to give back. But I think it's the responsibility of people who graduate from an institution like the University of Baltimore to think about ways to do that. And there are a lot of opportunities. I think if I had to bring it together, the skills that it takes to be, quite frankly, a successful human being. We see people at work, but in reality, once you remove all the computers and you remove all the technical things, business, like education, like sports, all comes back to people. It's how do we get along? How do we master the arts of motivating people and leading people and learning how to learn from failure and take that and then turn it around into something positive. All those types of activities, if you think about it in a typical day at the University of Baltimore, we were learning it. Learning the tools and the competencies to be successful at this level and then applying them as a graduate into the workplace and in life. And then hopefully playing that back as someone that says, okay, these same skills come back in my now, I'm far enough along where I have the ability to give back, taking those same skills and applying them back again. And quite frankly, inspiring the next generation of people who are going to come through and need to see someone that says, wow, I like what he's done and I like what he brings or she brings to the table. I want to be like that.